Life becomes lighter, clearer, and more meaningful the moment you realize a simple truth. It is a game, a cosmic play where you are both the player and the creator. The stress, the struggle, the fear of failing, the pressure to be perfect, these only feel heavy because you've forgotten the nature of the world you're living in. You're not here to suffer through every moment. You're here to play, to learn, to explore, to grow, and to experience this extraordinary journey. Think about how you play a game. You don't expect everything to go smoothly. You expect challenges. You expect obstacles. You expect levels you must master, and still you keep going because the challenge is part of the excitement. This is exactly how life works. Every obstacle you face isn't proof that life is unfair. It's a sign you're leveling up. It's life pushing you to become the version of yourself you haven't met yet. When you treat life like a game, fear loses its power. Mistakes become lessons, not failures. Challenges become opportunities, not punishments. And suddenly, the weight on your shoulders melts away, not because life becomes easier, but because you become wiser. You begin to understand that joy isn't something you chase at the finish line. Joy is the way you play. It's in the curiosity you bring into each day, the courage to try something new, the willingness to fail forward, and the strength to rise again. Even when the game gets hard, remember this. No player is given a level they are not capable of overcoming. If it's in front of you, it's meant for you, and the most beautiful part, there is no final form you must become. You are meant to evolve. You are meant to reinvent yourself. You are meant to explore different roles, different passions, different paths. Life isn't asking you to be perfect. It's inviting you to be fully alive. So play boldly, play joyfully, play with your whole heart. Celebrate your victories, learn from your setbacks, and never forget. This is your game, your story, your experience. Don't let fear control your next move. Don't let doubt write your script. The world is your playground, and you are far more powerful, more capable, and more extraordinary than you realize. Life is a game, and now that you know how to play it, win it in your own way. Life becomes lighter the moment you understand that it is not a burden you're dragging behind you, but a game you're meant to participate in. Most of the heaviness you feel does not come from life itself, but from the belief that everything must be serious, perfect, controlled, and certain. When you look at life as a game, the pressure starts to melt away because you stop expecting every moment to be flawless. Instead, you begin to see each experience as a part of the play, a moment in a larger journey that is unfolding exactly as it needs to. This shift in perspective transforms stress into curiosity, fear into courage, and challenges into opportunities to discover what you're truly capable of. When you understand that life is a game, you stop punishing yourself for not knowing everything. You realize that no game is meant to be mastered instantly. Games are designed with surprises, twists, and obstacles, not to harm you, but to help you learn. You stop blaming yourself for struggling and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That simple question flips your mindset and gives you strength instead of anxiety. Life becomes less about surviving and more about exploring. Every problem becomes a puzzle. Every setback becomes a chance to try again. Every moment becomes meaningful, not because it is perfect, but because it is part of a bigger picture. Thinking of life as a game also frees you from the expectations of others. Games invite individuality. They encourage you to try different strategies, take risks, fail, start over, and keep improving. You stop living for approval and start living for experience. You begin to understand that you don't have to walk the same path as anyone else. You don't have to fit into a mold. You don't have to compare your progress with someone who is playing a completely different level. The only thing that matters is how you play your own game, with your own timing, your own lessons, and your own courage. This mindset gives you room to breathe. It allows you to laugh more, worry less, and let go of the fear of failing. In a game, failing doesn't mean the end. It simply means try again with more awareness. It means you're learning. You begin to see that every challenge is actually a sign of growth. You would never face something you're not capable of overcoming. If it's in your path, it's meant to grow you. If it feels difficult, it's because you're leveling up. And the most beautiful part is that when life becomes a game, you finally give yourself permission to enjoy the journey. You don't wait for the final achievement to feel good. You realize the joy is in the process, in the risks you take, in the lessons you learn, in the moments you rise after falling. The pressure fades, the fear weakens, and you begin to live with more confidence, more curiosity, and more freedom. Life doesn't change, you do, and that changes everything. Challenges are often seen as obstacles that block the path. But when you look at life as a game, they transform into levels created to help you grow into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. Every meaningful game includes tests, puzzles, and moments that push you beyond what you already know. Without difficulty, there would be no progress, no evolution, and no real sense of achievement. The same is true in life. The challenges you face aren't signs that you're unlucky or unsupported. They are proof that you are ready to step into a higher version of yourself. They show up not to break you, but to reveal the strength that you may not yet realize you have. When a challenge appears, it is easy to feel overwhelmed or frustrated. But that reaction often comes from believing that life is supposed to be smooth and predictable. Once you shift your mindset and begin to see challenges as necessary chapters in your story, your relationship with struggle changes. Instead of resisting what is happening, you begin to observe it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you naturally move toward, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift replaces fear with curiosity and frustration with purpose. You stop perceiving difficulties as unfair punishment and start seeing them as carefully placed stepping stones that prepare you for your next stage. Every challenge carries valuable lessons you cannot learn from comfort. Growth never happens in stillness. It happens in discomfort, in uncertainty, in effort, and in courage. Just like a new level in a game requires new skills, a challenge in life asks you to upgrade your mindset, your patience, your discipline, or your resilience. These are the moments where character develops. These are the experiences that shape your inner strength. Without them, you might remain the same person forever, and life would lose its depth and meaning. Challenges also teach you to trust yourself. Each time you overcome something you once thought was impossible, you gain confidence not just in your abilities, but in your capacity to adapt, endure, and succeed. You begin to understand that every difficult moment you survived in the past has shaped you into someone with more wisdom than before. This recognition builds self-belief. It shows you that you can handle more than you imagined, that you are capable of rising even when everything feels heavy, and that your spirit is far more powerful than your doubts. And perhaps the most empowering part is realizing that challenges are temporary while the growth they create is permanent. The situation may pass, the struggle may end, but the strength you gain remains with you for life. Each challenge becomes a badge of resilience, a reminder of your progress, and a message that you are evolving. When you begin to see obstacles as levels designed for your advancement, the fear of facing them fades. You step forward with more courage, knowing that every challenge is not an enemy, but an invitation to rise higher than before. Mistakes are often treated as something to be ashamed of, as if they are proof that you are not good enough or not capable. But the truth is that mistakes are simply signs that you are alive, learning and growing. They are not the end of the path, they are part of the path. Every meaningful journey is filled with moments where things don't go as planned. No growth happens in perfect conditions. Growth happens when you attempt something new, when you step into unfamiliar territory, when you stretch beyond what you already know. Mistakes are evidence that you are trying, that you are moving forward instead of standing still. When you stop viewing mistakes as failures and start seeing them as lessons, everything changes. Instead of feeling defeated, you begin to feel curious. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who fell short, you see yourself as someone who has gained new information, new insight, and new wisdom. Mistakes teach you what doesn't work so you can discover what does. They reveal gaps in understanding so you can become more skillful. They show you where to adjust, where to grow, and where to strengthen yourself. Every mistake carries a message that pushes you closer to clarity. Without them, you would never evolve. Mistakes also build resilience. Each time you make one and choose to rise again, you become mentally stronger. You learn to stand back up even when you feel discouraged. You learn that falling is not something to fear, because every time you rise, you become tougher, wiser, and more prepared for whatever comes next. The act of recovering from a mistake shapes your character far more than any moment of success ever could. Success feels good, but mistakes make you powerful. They give you endurance. They teach you patience. They remind you that progress is not about perfection, but persistence. Another important truth is that mistakes remind you to stay human. They keep you humble, grounded, and open to improvement. When things always go right, it's easy to become rigid or overly confident. But mistakes soften you, teaching empathy and understanding. They help you grow emotionally as well as mentally. They make you more compassionate toward yourself and toward others, because you realize that everyone is learning, everyone is growing, and everyone is doing their best with the knowledge they have. What makes mistakes valuable is not the moment they happen, but what you choose to do after. You can either use them as reasons to quit or as reasons to improve. Every mistake contains a lesson, and every lesson becomes a tool you carry forward. Eventually, you begin to appreciate your past mistakes because you can see how they shaped your growth, your maturity, and your perspective. You realize that every misstep added something to your journey. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Mistakes are not reflections of your worth. They are stepping stones toward your potential. They are part of the process, not proof of failure. As long as you keep learning, you keep advancing. As long as you keep moving, you keep evolving. Every mistake becomes a chapter in your story, and every chapter brings you closer to the person you are becoming. Joy is often misunderstood as something that waits at the end of the journey, something you earn only after reaching a certain goal, achieving a specific milestone, or proving something to the world. But joy is not a reward, it is a way of moving through life. When you treat life like a game, you begin to understand that joy is found in the process, in the moments of exploration, in the effort you put in, and even in the challenges that stretch your limits. Joy comes from presence, from engagement, from passion, and from appreciating each step instead of rushing toward an imagined finish line. When you play with awareness instead of pressure, everything becomes lighter, clearer, and more fulfilling. Many people postpone joy because they believe they must earn it. They think life must be serious in order to be meaningful, but this mindset places unnecessary weight on every decision and every moment. When joy becomes something distant, life becomes something heavy. The truth is that joy is available right now, not at the end of some perfect outcome. It exists in curiosity, in learning, in trying again, and in the freedom to be imperfect. When you play the game of life with a sense of openness, you begin to see beauty in small things, a simple conversation, a new idea, a moment of quiet, a spark of inspiration. These experiences are easy to miss when focus is fixed only on the final destination. When joy becomes part of the way you play, even challenges feel different. Instead of seeing them as something that steals your happiness, you begin to see them as opportunities that deepen your understanding of yourself. Joy does not mean ignoring difficulty. It means choosing to stay connected to your inner light even while moving through difficult chapters. It means remembering that obstacles do not take away your ability to feel grateful, hopeful, or alive. The ability to find joy during uncertainty is not weakness, it is strength. It is a sign that you are not controlled by external conditions, but guided by inner clarity. Living with joy also means accepting that life is unpredictable. Games are fun because they are full of surprises. If everything were predictable, nothing would feel exciting. In the same way, life becomes richer when you allow yourself to be flexible, when you let go of the need to control everything, and when you embrace the unexpected with curiosity instead of fear. Joy flows more easily when you stop forcing life to fit a strict plan and instead participate in it with an open heart. This attitude creates space for creativity, inspiration, and new opportunities to enter your life. Most importantly, joy reminds you that you are here to live, not just to reach goals. Achievements fade, awards gather dust, even victories become memories. But the way you live each day, the energy you bring into your actions, the love you pour into your dreams, the gratitude you feel for simple moments, that is what shapes your experience. That is what makes the journey worthwhile. When joy becomes the foundation of how you move through life, every step becomes meaningful, every moment becomes valuable, and the game of life becomes something you don't just endure, it becomes something you truly enjoy. Life becomes clearer and more empowering when you understand that it is not a rigid path you must perfectly follow, but a dynamic game meant to be explored, experienced, and enjoyed. Every challenge becomes a level designed to strengthen you. Every mistake becomes a lesson that guides your growth, and every moment becomes an opportunity to rediscover your own resilience. Joy stops being something you chase and becomes something you choose. You begin to live with presence instead of pressure, curiosity instead of fear, and purpose instead of hesitation. When you approach life with this mindset, you no longer feel defeated by the unknown. You move with confidence, knowing that everything you encounter is part of your evolution. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating meaning with every step you take. The journey becomes more important than the destination, and each day transforms into a chance to grow, explore, and rise higher. This is the true art of playing the game of life, embracing your experiences, learning from every chapter, and allowing yourself to evolve into someone wiser, stronger, and more alive. When you play with heart, with courage, and with awareness, you don't just survive the game, you master it in your own way.